Hey, well, welcome to my podcast. I'm Michael Whittle.
Which podcast is this?
This is the podcast. What podcast is
this is welcome.
Oh, this is yours.
This is a added piece of content to my course on artificial intelligence.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You're doing a course?
Yeah, it's doing a course on artificial intelligence. I am the authoritative voice. I don't know if you know that, Nathan.
Well,
if there is an authoritative voice in all of Christendom about AI,
yeah,
you're looking at it.
Well, I actually believe that. You've been pretty busy.
Yeah, I've been busy. So what were we gonna say something?
Well, tell us what you've been doing.
Well, yeah, about a year ago, we started this company called Pulpit AI, which was really not going to be a company. It was kind of like a bit of a side project experiment turned kind of joke that then went viral on Twitter that we then turned into a business. So, yeah, we've been working with almost 3,000 churches so far have used our little app called Pulpit AI. We have 700 pastors using it every week, and it's been a crazy year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you guys got a lot of hate on Twitter?
Yeah, we did. So when I say this was a joke, like I literally made our initial landing page for the website using AI and all the copy for it on AI. Like the initial tagline was like "supercharge your sermon" was the tag. And on like Friday afternoon, I literally tweeted out, "Hey, we're going to launch this thing." And I didn't have anyone following me, and I went to bed and woke up and it had gone viral the next morning because there was one hyper fundamentalist. In fact, here, I think I have the quote. This she's actually an Episcopalian. She's like an Episcopalian blogger that has like a ton of followers. She retweeted my tweet. Somehow she found it.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow. I don't fully understand. And she said, "We have a book of homilies for a reason. Crucially, none of them were written by demons." And so because people thought initially that it was going to write sermons for you.
Right.
So for like the first 6 hours, like everyone was just like dunking on it, hating on it.
Right.
And then I was like, actually, this isn't writing sermons for you. It's just like repurposing, your sermon. So that's kind of what got us started. But we basically were people were saying, yeah, AIs are demons, don't trust them. Pretty sure this entire idea is satanic. Someone said at first, I thought this was the Babylon Bee. All I can say is no, 1,000 times no. God's word must be mediated through redeemed hearts and minds, not artificial intelligence based on algorithms set up by God haters. So it basically put us in the center of this conversation, which I didn't even fully realize was a big debate on Christianity and AI. Should Christians use it? Should they not? And is it existentially a threat to society? And I think I literally hit up you and Chris Palmer and was like, "Hey, I've just fallen right in the middle of this argument,
right,
and I need help."
Yeah.
So that was kind of where it started.
So where did you land after talking to me and whoever else?
I think for me the question becomes probably most people when they talk about AI, they think they know what it is, but really it's not what they think it is, right?
So what's AI?
So you think about there's different forms of AI, right? So the AI that we would know and use is narrow AI, which is essentially just basically systems designed for specific tasks, right? It's literally task oriented, predefined range of parameters, ingests data and puts out data, pattern recognition. So that's stuff that you and I would use, right? So that could be Amazon Alexa, ChatGPT, any of that stuff.
Sure. Even when you Google.
Exactly. Google, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's just basically data being processed, pattern recognition kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So that's really what but when people think of AI, they're thinking of AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is where Terminator and some of that stuff comes into play. And that is essentially when a computer becomes human-like and can reason and feel and think and has human-like traits, right? So there's this conversation about is that going to be reached, and then can it be reached, right? So that's where it kind of starts to where the conversation begins is should a Christian actually do we even need to be afraid that a computer can become a human? Because as Christians, do we actually believe that a computer can become a human, or are humans such a unique thing made in the image of God that we're actually worried about something that is not even possible?
Right.
So like, Sam Altman, who runs OpenAI, right? Like that whole company is a big freaking mystery box. Like, are they for profit? Are they non-profit? Executives are leaving all over the place. And the question is like, he's saying they're basically on a quest to find and discover AGI.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to do it. The question is like, do we as Christians even believe that it can be discovered? What do you think?
Right.
Like if humans are made in the image of God, is this chase for this human-like intelligence even possible, or is it no different than the Tower of Babel, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess getting back to understanding AI, it's only as good as its inputs. So the people who are deciding, you know, like you've got all these different modelers and you've got all these different data sets, and that's how AI works, and they pull from those things. So, if you ask AI, what does C.S. Lewis believe about the existence of God, or is man made in the image of God? Then drawing from his entire works, that would be quite useful. Or William Lane Craig. But if you're drawing from Richard Dawkins and asking him if man's made in the image of God, and that's your data point, depending on whoever is, setting the parameters. So yeah, I mean, I don't think artificial intelligence is ever going to be able to answer definitively anything, because its starting point is humanity's contributions to knowledge, and humanity's contributions to knowledge are not a monolith. We disagree on nearly everything. And so AI will only, it'll only do two things. Number one, make the value of a humanities degree or a philosophy degree that much more important. So that then you can call BS on an AI modeler that is using certain data points that are just abhorrent. For example, like if I ask a certain AI, to show me a picture of George Washington, and George Washington is an African American,
Right.
then it's like, well, why did this happen?
Right.
There's a philosophy behind it.
Right.
Or ask, there are philosophies of history. Ask AI why the American Civil War happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's going to be completely different philosophies of why the American Civil War
Right.
happened. It's going to make a Christian. It essentially, if you're getting a Christian education, you're going to be a prophet in the future, because all these models, or most of them, are going to be pretty. They're going to be ideological.
Right.
So number one, it's to make your own education more important. And number two, if you have a great education, it's going to make you dangerous with AI. Because you'll have all of these, you'll have a lot of power at your fingertips. But
right,
AI is never going to be able to, like I think we can agree upon, it's never going to be, it's never going to have its own
agency, human agency.
Correct. Right. Yeah, exactly. And there will be, one could have the appearance of it, but it's only at the mercy of whoever programmed it.
Right. And so people would say, yes, totally, I understand that. But then there's the kind of people who just think like, well, a demon can work its way into any kind of technology, right? So like there are these like, moments where some artist in Sweden says, oh, I put in these prompts and what came back was this like violent image of a woman. We'll like link to it. It's this like whole thing that blew up online, right? Where it's like, do we as Christians, like, this might kind of takes us off the topic of AI in general, but that idea of like, oh, there's demons in this thing. Like, is that even...
Can demons inhabit inanimate objects?
Exactly.
Well, I don't see why not, but scripturally, theologically, demons are always looking for, this is how Mike Heiser, my brother's favorite theologian, would answer this. Heiser believes that demons are the undead, they are the souls of dead Nephilim. Nephilim were half angel, half human, and they're not created by God. They're not created by man. They're created by angels. And so they are confined to this space. Whereas like angels are created by God and they have access to God's world, and humans are created by God, and we have access. Our souls perish. We go and we await the resurrection. In Abraham's bosom or whatever. Anyways, long story short, or for the Christian in paradise with Christ immediately, the idea is that the dead Nephilim, their souls are stuck here, and we call them colloquially demons. And the lore, the demon lore, is that we see this in the New Testament, that they look for warm bodies to fill because they once inhabited a man's body, and now their bodies cannot inhabit anything, and they're never going to be resurrected. And so they just wreak havoc, and they're just looking for something to fill. I mean, Jesus cast them into pigs, but they inhabit people's bodies, and they cause and wreak havoc. I don't know of a time in history or in biblical history, salvation history, when a demon has inhabited an inanimate object.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that it can't happen,
Right.
but there's no biblical precedent for it. And it appears that that's not what they're necessarily into. It appears that they are into, but for example, like Jesus says that if we don't, or the Psalms say that if we don't praise him, the rock will cry out. Nature appears to be alive, not the type of life that we have. I don't know. It's all
Yeah.
But the point is that could a demon ever take over a robot? Like Chucky is an inanimate doll who's possessed by a demon. I don't think so.
Yeah.
If I was gun to my head, I'd say no.
Right.
Because there's no biblical precedent for it.